administration confirmed that UPS Flight 2976 crashed around 5:15 p.m. local time. After departing the airport in Louisville, the McDonnell Douglas MD-11 was headed to Honolulu, Hawaii. The plane, owned by UPS, was manufactured in 1991. The NTSB will lead this investigation with assistance from the FAA. Louisville Metro Police advised people to avoid the area, and a shelter-in-place order was issued for a 5-mile radius. Now, UPS posted that they have been notified that one of its aircraft was involved in this crash, and they're monitoring things. We are expecting a news conference later this half hour, and we'll bring it to you as soon as we get more information. Live in News Center, Kimberly Chang.
Thank you. Here at home, several cars damaged by a driver who led police on a dangerous high-speed pursuit through the streets of Huntington Park. It ended when the driver collided with another car, then tried to make a run for it.
He did not get far. KTLA 5 Sarah Welch is live in Huntington Park with the latest. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Sam, good afternoon. Yeah, he was caught pretty quickly, but it all ended here in front of Middleton Elementary. You can see that's the tree where that suspect crashed into after hitting that Honda Accord, and it was terrifying for the 5 people who were inside that car when he struck them. Watch how this all went down.
Ooh, through the intersection, clips another vehicle there.
The chase started just after 11 in South LA near 48th Place in Alameda.
Wow.
A man driving this white Mercedes SUV along surface streets at speeds topping 99 miles an hour. He crossed center lines, ran red lights, and struck at least 3 vehicles as he attempted to get away.
T-boned right there in the intersection.
The reckless driver then drove into Bell and onto Huntington Park, where he clipped this Honda Accord at the intersection of Malabar and Gage in front of Middleton Elementary. The shirtless suspect jumped out of the vehicle and ran down the street, ducking into this garage, but was quickly captured by LAPD chasing behind.
Look how damaged the car is right here.
There were 5 people inside the wrecked Honda, including a 1-year-old boy and teenager Ethan Donovan.
We were turning left, and the car, I think he was going straight or turning left. He hit us, I don't know how he hit us, he just hit us straight. And so the guy came out and he started running, so he was in pursuit, and the cops got him.
His sister had just bought this car after saving up all year for it. Her mother grateful knowing this could have ended much differently.
Right now, I'm very traumatized right now, feeling, still shook up right now because of, the tragedy that happened right now. My kids, thank God that they're safe and nobody got hurt.
As for the suspect, police say he was running from a robbery. He is in custody tonight. We'll send it back to you in Hollywood.
Sarah Welch, thank you. California's special election is underway. Voters are deciding the fate of Proposition 50.
If approved, the measure would adopt new congressional maps in California that will favor Democrats. KTLA's Chris Wolf is live at LA County's Election Center in the City of Industry with the latest. Chris.
That's right. Good afternoon, John and Sam. This is where the buck stops, right here, the LA County Registrar's Office in City of Industry, where all of those votes are being counted. After months of campaigning and political advertising and early voting, finally, here is the deadline for Californians to say yay or nay on Prop 50, although the results may not be certified until mid-December. Red versus blue and blue versus red. Partisan politics are playing out in a major way as California votes on Proposition 50 this election day. Poll workers tell us they've seen a heavy turnout with a steady stream of voters lining up to cement their voices, starting at 7 a.m. when the polls open. We stopped at a location in Silver Lake to hear viewpoints.
I like the idea of keeping it an independent commission versus having it being done by our legislators, because that's going to be something that's going to happen, that's going to affect for years to come. So I'm not sure why it was being done now, and so I voted against it.
It's not really fair that Trump is doing this stuff, and I think that we need to nip it in the bud as hard as we can, and who knows what'll even happen and if this will even go through and what he'll do to come back against it.
Prop 50 asks voters whether to adopt new state lawmaker-drawn congressional maps in California which would remain in effect through 2030 and impact the next 3 congressional elections in 2026, 2028, and 2030. The current map shows significantly more red than the result if Prop 50 passes. Redistricting would position Democrats to pick up 5 extra U.S. House seats, a countermeasure to similar so-called gerrymandering efforts by Republicans in red states, giving them the edge. Polls close at 8 p.m. tonight. We expect the results to come back fairly quickly, although the California Secretary of State has until December 12th to certify the statewide results. We will be hearing from more voters and election officials in the coming hours. Reporting live in City of Industry, Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.
Chris, thank you. And stay with KTLA for continuing coverage of California's special election on Prop 50. You can get up-to-the-minute Prop 50 results throughout the night on KTLA.com and on the free KTLA Plus app.
And voting is underway in New York City to see who will be the next mayor. Frontrunner Zohran Mamdani cast his vote earlier today alongside his wife at a Queens high school. Yesterday, former Governor Andrew Cuomo, now running as an independent, picked up support from both President Trump and Elon Musk. Trump says he will cut off federal funding to New York City if Mamdani wins. The president also dismissed Republican nominee and Guardian Angels founder Curtis Sliwa, calling a vote for him, quote, a waste. And 2 high-profile governor's races are taking place today. Democrat Mickey Sherrill facing off against Republican Jack Ciattarelli in New Jersey. That race is expected to be tight, with Sherrill holding a single-digit lead in latest polling. In Virginia, history will be made as Democrat Abigail Spanberger and the GOP's Winsome Earl Sears look to become the first woman, to lead the Commonwealth.
Senator Alex Padilla says he will not run for California governor.
And so it is with a full heart and even more commitment than ever that I am choosing to not run for a governor of California next year. I choose not just to stay in the Senate, I choose to stay in this fight because the Constitution is worth fighting for. Our fundamental rights are worth fighting for.
Padilla made that announcement today after months of speculation that he would enter the race. In June, the senator was tackled by federal officers at a press conference for Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem at the Federal Building in downtown Los Angeles.
Politicians nationwide are reacting to the death of former Vice President Dick Cheney. He was a fixture in Republican administrations going back to Gerald Ford, but became a defining figure in post-9/11 America. American flags over Washington, D.C. are flying at half-staff in honor of Dick Cheney, who served in Congress as defense secretary and as vice president. In a statement, former President George W. Bush called Cheney an honorable man. Quote, he held to his convictions and prioritized the freedom and security of the American people.
Dick was a lifelong public servant who believed very deeply in our country and brought his considerable knowledge and intelligence to its service.
Cheney oversaw the Pentagon during the Gulf War and influenced the Bush administration to begin the war on terror after 9/11. Political leaders, including Governor Newsom, shared their own message for the former vice president's family.
And let me extend my heartfelt condolences, sympathies, and prayers to our former colleague, Liz Cheney, to Mrs. Cheney, and to the entire Cheney family on the passing of Vice President Dick Cheney.
His unflinching leadership shaped many of the biggest moments in domestic and U.S. foreign policy for decades. Dick is going to be remembered as a towering figure who helped guide the course of history, certainly in Wyoming and also in the United States and, of course, around the world.
Cheney's unwavering defense of the Iraq War drew lasting criticism, especially after no weapons of mass destruction were found. He championed expanded government surveillance and interrogation tactics after 9/11. And in 2006, Cheney made headlines after accidentally shooting a friend during a hunting trip, an incident that became late-night fodder for years. In his later years, Cheney broke sharply with his party, joining his daughter Liz, campaigning against President Trump. At the White House, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said President Trump is aware of the former vice president's passing.
As you saw, flags have been lowered to half staff in accordance with statutory law.
President Bush's daughter had this reflection about grieving a complicated figure.
I think, public grieving can be difficult because there's a lot about who the person is as a public figure, but very little about who they are as a dad, as a granddad, as a husband. And so I'm thinking of his family.
84-year-old Cheney died of heart disease and pneumonia, surrounded by his daughters and wife of 61 years, Lynn. Funeral arrangements have not yet been announced.
Hollywood is remembering iconic actress Diane Ladd. She died yesterday at the age of 89. Flowers have been placed along Ladd's star along the Hollywood Walk of Fame today. Ladd is the mother of celebrated Hollywood actress Laura Dern. The two first appeared on screen together in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. That was when Laura was just 7 years old. Later, they played in the HBO series Enlightened from 2011 to 2013. The two also worked together on Citizen Ruth and Inland Empire. Ladd is survived